So for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm going to go my usual slides just by way of a quick introduction. But logistics, we'll go on for about 45 minutes. Feel free to, drop off if you need to. Have you got your water with you? Look, this is actually wet. It's so stuffy, so humid here in Kefalonia. I'm on a Greek island, everybody, which is lovely. I'm working. I am working. So I've had a lovely bit of a holiday, a few days holiday. It's been really, really hot, and I've swam more days than not. And it's been really nice. And I've been showing a few friends around. But this week, I'm cracking on with some work. I do spend 3 weeks or 4 weeks here every single year. It's a nice opportunity for me to have a bit of me time, but also to really focus on my business without getting distracted. So have you all got your water? If you haven't got your water, do feel free to go and get one, because it's so important to stay hydrated. So I'll just put that down there. So that's logistic number one. Logistic number two is I am recording this for replay, and I will pop it up on my public YouTube channel. So what I will do is I will spotlight myself, spotlight me, so that in the recording it'll only be my face. Okay, that's the next thing. So everybody's happy with that. Do ask questions and don't let the replay get in the way of you contributing and participating, because if you say something and you think, oh no, that's going public, let me know and I'll edit it out. Okay, so please don't let that hold you back from engaging fully. So if you're in the right place, if you are curious about weight loss injections, and if you are somebody that is even already taking them but is like suffering side effects or wondering how the hell you're going to get off them. So I was going to survey the room, but we've only got one person on camera. So let's just do a survey for the replay. For the replay, hands up who is not taking the weight loss injections but is curious in some way. Curious, right? Hands up who's heard worrying things about the weight loss injections. Worrying things. Liz is coming in. Let's let Liz in the room. Yeah, we've all heard worrying things, haven't we? Yes. And hands up who's got a friend who's taken them and swears by them. Yeah, couple of, yeah, exactly. So we all know somebody who's taken them and swears by them. We've all heard worrying stories. We're all aware of some of the side effects. And so I wanted to invite this discussion to help you, from what I know, to help you think things through, but also so get a very realistic idea of what they do, what they're not, what they will fix and what they won't, okay? And present to you a viable, natural alternative that doesn't involve medications, okay? So that's what we're going to cover, and we'll whiz through. This is not my full presentation by any means. If you want that, that's coming up on the 24th, okay? So my full-on presentation, which is why diets don't work, ageless vitality, feeling great at losing weight and improving your health, and a cohort coming up this summer. Join me on the 24th, which is next Tuesday at 6 p.m. That will be the full presentation. This is the focus on the weight loss injections and the GLP-1s. Rosalba, very worried for those taking it and want to help them somehow. Yes, me too. Happy for those who are taking it and at the moment are getting great results. Delighted. Some of my good friends, right? Really happy for them. Why they didn't jump on my program instead of taking the weight loss injections, I don't know. Maybe I didn't say I'll do the right thing, but I want to support them. So this is not exclusively to dissuade you. This is for anybody who's also like 50-50. This might help you make up your mind. And some of you might even, once you heard about the alternative, you might still decide weight loss injections is the right way for you. And if you do, I want you to know that I am there to support you with that as well. So you can either hear what I'm going to say, you can make your own, draw your own conclusion, work out what's right for you. If that's my program, I would suggest try my program without the weight loss injections first to see if it works, because then you won't need to spend the money and have the risks and side effects. But if you are absolutely no, I'm going to take them, but Sue's got a point with the whole health thing, then come and talk to me about doing the program in a supported way. Okay, right. So Share screen, the audience window, share. Let me jump back to the beginning. Just a quick intro to me for anybody who hasn't met me properly. I am 53, 54 in August, mum to 2 teens. We live in Cardiff, but I'm on holiday in Kefalonia at the moment. And as you might gather from my picture there of riding a motorbike and other things you've seen me doing, lover of life, but also my top value, freedom, fun, friends, family, and food. You know, I'm a great lover of food. But in 2020, I transformed both my health and my life through the way I was eating. And I'm still a great lover of food. Okay. So it's not about deprivation, but it changed my life so much. My health, my joint pain, stiffness. I feel younger now than I did in my 30s. This is all summarized in the recent series that I ran. So if anybody wants the replay of the one about symptoms or the one about why diets don't work, reach out and I'll share the replays. But just in a nutshell, it changed my life so much that I became a coach in the method that I experienced almost 5 years ago to the day. And I'm now one of 11 master coaches worldwide teaching this amazing method. And I've helped 250, actually it's more like 280 now, through the health transformation, just with a food reset, it's all through food and lifestyle. This was me before. Yeah, I was too busy to eat properly. I was having a lot of fun. I was drinking a lot. I was baking a lot of cakes, socializing, eating late at night, turning to wine to de-stress. Yeah, that was me. And decades of that took its toll on me. So it wasn't just the weight gain. And I was, I've been 3 dress sizes larger than this. It wasn't just the weight gain. It was the tiredness. It was the brain fog. The perimenopause symptoms started creeping in. You know, the stiff, achy joints, the acid reflux, digestive issues, constipation, and the opposite of constipation, you know. So tiredness in the evening was so unbearable when my kids were little that I physically couldn't read to them. I physically couldn't stay awake long enough to read them a bedtime story. And that really upsets me now when I look back. I never had that thing with the kids because I was always too damn tired every evening. But I think the most significant part of my transformation was going from somebody that didn't look like me in the mirror to somebody who feels this is the real me, right? I'm still a curvy size 14. I think, it's not about your shape and size so much, but how you feel in your body. So for me, the health transformation that I went on in 2020 through a new relationship with food in ways that I'd never known possible meant that I no longer had the cravings and the compulsions. The fatigue went, the joint pain and stiffness went, the gut issues went, and I even managed to reduce my allergies so much that after 20 years, I've got 2 cats again. I was told by a specialist that I couldn't have cats, and I cried and cried because my cats were my babies before I was pregnant, and then I had to get rid of my cats, and it broke my heart. But I've got 2 cats again now because my allergies are so much better. And we're mid-June and I haven't taken any antihistamines for hay fever. And I used to take antihistamines all year round. So symptoms as well as 2-3 dress sizes and no longer on any of the meds. Energy, better now than in my 30s. Sleep is better. Body confidence is great. Love having my photo taken, going up on stage, 100% confident. And the huge thing is ditched the cycle of dieting and failure forever. Yeah, anybody else resonating with that? Ditch the cycle of dieting and failure forever with a completely new food relationship. But we are here to talk about GLP-1. But in a nutshell, for me, the program that I discovered was a revelation because I realized that the answer was there all along, not in drugs or diets or plans, but in a re-education about how our bodies are designed to thrive, right? And it helped me understand why I was failing all the time, because diets aren't set up to help you succeed. They're set up to help you keep coming back. So weight loss was a natural side effect. It wasn't a weight loss program. right? And you'll hear that theme coming right the way through. When you learn how to eat and how to master your food relationship, weight loss is a natural side effect. For me, it was 20 pounds. In fact, 20 pounds is the average on the program that I'll tell you about at the end. So the slide is incomplete because of my arm. So I ran out of time to complete this slide, but it says everything. Let's have a talk about what are weight loss injections and how do they work, okay? So they're called GLP-1s, and that is because it mimics the natural GLP hormone, which tells you you're full, okay? So it's, let me just go back to my notes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it copies your body's fullness signals. Okay, so the fullness signals and slows down the digestion. Now, those fullness signals would be there naturally when we'd eaten enough naturally. Does that make sense? But what the GLP-1 is doing is it's synthesizing that hormone, and it's telling your body you're full when you're not. So the tendency, so it suppresses your appetite and you eat a lot less. The tendency is to eat a lot less, like an incredible calorie restricted diet, but without the pain, because you just go, oh, I'm just not hungry. But of course, the danger of that is that there is a tendency to eat too little, right? There is a tendency, if you know anybody that's on these, you probably said to them, you're not eating anything, or not even a salad or anything. So there is a tendency for them to be eating less, a lot less than normal, but not changing the way they eat at all. So if they are somebody that is used to living on convenience foods, grab and go, maybe a lot of that kind of more junkier food has got them to where they are, it's not going to change what they eat. They're not going to suddenly start wanting a salad or some chicken. They're going to eat a little bit less or a lot less of what they are eating already. So, and I'll just stop sharing at this point. So what that means is you picture what your typical food is when you're not on a good day. Picture your food on a bad day. Picture your friend's food on a bad day. That's what it's going to be like, because the foods that they do fancy are the foods they're familiar with, the foods they like the taste of, the foods that are the highest in flavor, and they're very often the junkiest foods, right? So it means eating less, but it doesn't retrain your brain and help you start eating healthily. But it does, let's not ignore the effects. It certainly manages your appetite, right? They have an incredible ability to make you not want to eat. One of the downsides of that is they also have an incredible ability to make you not want to drink. And so if you are taking these, you'll be told, make sure you hydrate properly. Okay, so for anybody who is taking them, is there anybody in the room who is taking them and would like some support with that? If there is, and you don't want to tell me, that's absolutely fine. But if you are on the replay, so if you're taking them, notice that you're going to be eating less, but not better. So you need to take control of the situation yourself. You need to take conscious steps to eat better. And the simple tip for that is maximize your protein, your chicken, your fish, your eggs. If you're a vegetarian, you've got to get your plant-based proteins, but also drink plenty of water so that you're not getting dehydrated. So let's just go back to my screen share, because I want to share a slide with you, which is what they don't tell you, right? So what they do tell you, if you read, when you sign up for these, I've been through the process because I wanted to see what they told you when you sign up. They will tell you the side effects. So they will tell you that you may get nausea, it may upset your tummy. These are highly likely side effects. A lot of people have experienced these at some point, particularly when people increase the dosage or they haven't got the dose right. They can make you tired as a result of not eating properly, and it can lead to nutrient deficiencies. Okay, we'll come on to the main one of those in a second, but a lot of people have heard about hair thinning, right? That's a significant one. If you are really disciplined and you're taking them, You can avoid those by making sure you're properly nourished, but your appetite is not going to do that for you. Does that make sense, everybody? So if you're going to take them and you want to make sure you protect your health, your energy, and your muscle, let's talk about muscle, you need to take control and make sure that you are getting properly nourished, maximizing protein and getting plenty of good vegetables. So those are the side effects that you can read on the packet, but what they don't tell you is the known effects. The known effects, not risks, not side effects, but absolute, this is what's going to happen effects, unless you do something about it, muscle loss. Who knew that when somebody loses 10 pounds on these drugs, 2 to 4 pounds is muscle? Did you know that? 2 to 4 pounds out of every 10 is muscle. Now, the only way you can prevent that is by consciously eating enough protein and doing enough strength training. Now, I do strength training, and I know enough is actually quite significant to prevent muscle loss. Okay, so most people are not doing enough strength training. The other problem with muscle loss is that muscle is largely responsible for our metabolism. The more muscle we have, the stronger our metabolism. Muscle is really important for your long-term metabolic health. And so anybody that's taking them, do protect your muscles, plenty of protein and weight training, proper strength training, okay, to protect your muscles. There are some concerns about the long-term effect on our bone density. So please be aware of that as well. If anybody has osteoporosis in the family, or that is a concern for you, then you might want to really look carefully at the issue around muscle loss and bone density. Because as we age, the muscles protect bones from breaking. They make us more stable. They make us stronger. They have a protective function around the bones. And if you've got muscle loss combined with a possible bone density loss, you could be at bigger danger of serious breakages as we age. So that's a concern for a lot of people. Okay. What they will do, and I don't know how much people are discussing this, is when you stop, all the hunger and the cravings, the emotional eating return. So while people are taking them, they do feel, if you've got any friends who are on them, my friends will say to me, oh, it's managed my food relationship. And I'm sure it is while it's suppressing the appetite. And maybe it has got positive benefits for people who have food addictions and that kind of thing. You know, I'm definitely seeing reports of there being positive effects on a lot of food relationship issues, which is great while you're taking them. But you've got to stop some point, right? Unless you're going to take them for the rest of your life. They do not address the root cause of emotional eating, comfort eating, and cravings. Okay, so invariably, people will eventually want to get off them. There needs to be an exit strategy for getting off them. Now, I've got a friend who I spoke to this morning because I wanted to be really well informed about this. She's one of the people that swears by them, but is very clued up on the risks and unwanted effects. And she's in the communities and she's helping support people. And she says it's a big problem for people who think they can just take the injections and not do any work. The work you need to do, as apart from everything we've just talked about, is really work on your food relationship. Now, luckily, that's exactly what my program does. So I'm just going to admit somebody else. Vanessa's coming in the room. So they will lose their effectiveness over time, and that tends to make people turn to snacking again. And that turn into snacking again tends to make people increase their dosage. So now their dose is going higher and higher, and their side effects are more likely to have an impact on them as well. So there are side effects, there are risks, and there are known effects. So I've just given you a little bit of an overview of the ones that I'm aware of. So with the most love, support, and respect to anybody and everybody who is taking them, would anybody like to share any of the other effects, either that they've experienced or that their friend has experienced or that they've read about in the news, before we move on from that slide? So I probably haven't captured them all. I'm trying to keep it really simple, and I'm trying to keep it really objective and supportive as well. So just feel free to pop in the chat if you can think of anything else that we haven't covered, just so that people are really aware. Now, what the real problem is, these things make us think, right? The industry makes us think that we are the problem. The industry makes us think that it's our appetite that's the problem. It's our portion size that's the problem, right? The real problem, my darlings, is not us. It's not a character defect. The real problem is the food industry. The real problem is that the food we're eating that's in a packet jar or cling film, anything like that, ready meals, tins, jars, packets, sauces, all of it, the whole lot, anything you buy from fast food, anything you buy from a cafe, convenience outlet, they all contain high sugar, highly processed ingredients, which are engineered explicitly to make us keep craving those foods, right? Has anybody read Ultra Processed People? Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Tullochen. It's a big old read, but if anyone is interested in this and the way the food industry plays its part in keeping us not just gaining weight unnaturally, the food is highly packed with calories because they're cheap. Calories are cheap, fat and sugar, the cheapest, nastiest fats, but they're also designed. Yeah, Rosalba's reading it at the moment and it's shocking. They are technologically engineering all the foods with the optimal levels of fat and sugar and add flavor enhancers to make us buy another packet, to make us eat twice as much, to make us crave more. So not only is this culture, this is just a supermarket aisle. This is nothing out of the ordinary. We're not talking about, the United States problem. We're talking about Britain and Europe. Supermarket, ultra processed foods everywhere you go, and you pop along to the cafe or I'm just going to grab and go. Have a look at the ingredients on the food you're grabbing and going. Ultra processed ingredients, even just in a sandwich, right? So it keeps us craving more. And the big problem is that it is not meeting our emotional needs. We'll come to that. It's not meeting our nutritional needs. So there's another trigger why the body goes, where's the nutrients? You need to eat more of this because I'm looking for some protein, vitamins, minerals, fats. I'm looking for good, healthy nutrients and I'm not seeing them. So the body tells you to eat more. Hi, Priya. Lovely to see you, darling. Thanks for joining us. So not only do these foods lead to weight gain, which we see everywhere on the news all over the world, but what we're not seeing so much, and this is day one of the masterclass I gave the other week. If you want the replay, let me know. They're also leading to exacerbating our symptoms. They're exacerbating the joint pain and stiffness that we have a tendency towards in perimenopause. They're exacerbating chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root of all disease. They're exacerbating long-term disease. Symptoms like irritable bowel, high blood pressure, and as I think we all know this, there's a type 2 diabetes almost pandemic now, right? Because of the sugar and the highly refined carbs in the food that we're eating. We've gone so far away from our natural human diet that the body just doesn't know how to cope. And yet we keep eating it because they keep making us addicted. Asthma, allergies, neurological symptoms, and as well as mood, anxiety, and depression. There is now a very strong link between the way we are eating and our mood and our level of mental wellness. Okay, not to mention burnout, so closely related. So that's some of the health implications of the way the food we're being fed, the impact that that's having on us. And so weight loss injections will certainly help you eat less of that while you're taking them. That is a given. And that is why people report feeling better on them, because they're eating less of the junk food. But they only help you eat less while you're taking them. They don't help you get properly nourished. Now, everybody I know who's taking these will tell you the same. They don't make me want a salad. I've got to intentionally make myself eat healthy food because I haven't got the appetite for it. Okay, so they don't nourish your body. So they won't help in the long run when it comes to the symptoms that we've just discussed on the previous page. They don't fix your reliance on convenience. They don't retrain you how to eat for health in an easy, simple way. They don't do any food education at all. You've got to take it upon yourself to do the food education. That's where my program comes in, whether you're taking them or not. They don't fix your emotional eating. They don't fix that missing component. They don't fix that, oh, but I just want something. I've had a bad day. I need a reward. I'm feeling disconnected and lonely. I'm going to have a chocolate bar. They don't fix that. You won't have the cravings for the chocolate bar, but they won't fix the emotional void. It's important. And then there are reports of people getting depressed because now they don't have anything to fill the emotional void. It's so important to address the root causes of emotional eating and cravings. Okay, because when you stop, the old habits and the old cravings and the old emotional eating patterns are going to return. And so for anybody who is taking them, you need a carefully designed exit strategy. And the person who I was speaking to this morning, a good friend who is taking them, said exactly that. People don't realize they need to re-educate their food relationship. They need to address the root causes of emotional eating, and they need an exit strategy. Okay. And if she was here, she wanted to be here, she couldn't make it. But if she was here, this is what she would tell you. So, how do we nourish those emotional cravings, the nutritional cravings? There are 6 different types of human hunger. Those are just 2. We've mentioned 3 actually, because we talked about thirst. So we've already dealt with thirst, nutritional hunger, and emotional hunger. Those 3 need addressing. And you can't just do that overnight. You need a program of behavior change to get all of those sorted out. Even when we're dealing with people's hydration, it doesn't happen overnight. You can't just tell somebody, drink more water, and it happens. You need educating to fit that into your life. But what are the other ones? Okay, so variety is key. We need variety to make sure that we're getting all our nutrients met. Humans have a craving for variety. We need to satisfy that craving for variety, both with our food, brightly colored, good range of healthy foods, but also with our lifestyle activities. We need a wide range of different experiences and human connections and activities and educational stimuli that keep us on our craving for variety. Otherwise, we're just going to look for it when we open the fridge. And a big one that won't be addressed by these weight loss injections, although they can help people get on top of their type 2 diabetes temporarily because you're losing a lot of weight, you're eating a lot less sugar all of a sudden. You can reverse your type 2 diabetes, but in the long run, if you don't change the way you're eating, that's going to come back. So blood sugars is absolutely key. So the way we're eating, the sugars, the breads, the ultra processed foods is leading us to have erratic blood sugars. And that is why I was experiencing this early evening debilitating tiredness when trying to read my kids a bedtime story and when trying to have a meeting at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon in work. Couldn't do it. Low blood sugar, hunger. That needs addressing, and that is addressed with the food you eat by going back to more natural whole foods. So the injections alone won't address any of these. We've got to nourish the 6 human hungers at the root. Emotional eating, we've talked a lot about. Okay, so anybody recognize patterns of emotional eating? It's so important that we fill those voids, and that's a whole training program. It's not just, oh, sort yourself out, Mo. It's a whole training program to understand what those triggers are telling us. And once we know what the triggers are, then we can feel, and we're properly nourished, we can be empowered to tackle those problems, right? Whereas if you just mask them with food, or even worse, suppress the appetite so that there isn't even a sticking plaster, you are left vulnerable and not knowing the cause. You're left emotionally vulnerable. So that to me is a danger. So when you satisfy all the hungers, emotional, nutritional, low blood sugar in the right way, what happens? Number 1, happy, healthy gut microbiome. And a happy, healthy gut microbiome and stable blood sugars lead to more energy, not less. Food deprivation leads to less energy and slump and fatigue. Proper nourishment leads to more energy, more focus, more clarity, better sleep, better mood, better well-being, just from improving the nutritional quality of the food you're eating. Okay. Yes, you've got to learn the behaviors behind that to make that happen. It takes a few weeks, but we get you there. What else happens as a side effect? Immunity. So now your immunity to coughs and colds and other nasties increases. And that's measurable. You can measure how many colds you get in a year. Yeah? You can measure, you can see in your skin if you were used to getting cold sores or fungal skin patches or athlete's foot or any of these things, thrush, all of those things decrease. Your fitness and muscle increases, and that's something you measure in your day-to-day activity. And your desire for healthy food increases because your taste buds get finely tuned, and you will now crave proteins and salads rather than things out of a box. What goes down when you get properly nourished? The afternoon slump, less hours sleep. Actually, you can manage much better on less sleep. Cravings and desire for junk food legitimately decreases long-term without the need for appetite suppressants. Chronic inflammation, puffiness, stiffness, joint pain, stiffness, right? That's all to do with chronic inflammation. And when inflammation goes down, your long-term prospect of health increases. So this is for the long term. This is for the long term. Headaches. I've had a massive success rate with headaches, migraines, people overcoming their migraines. Whereas if you just suppress the appetite, you're probably still consuming the foods and drinks that cause migraines. You probably are because you haven't had any retraining. And body fat. As a side effect, body fat is released naturally. So how would it feel if you could be at peace with food, not just on appetite suppressants, which work temporarily, but permanently, to love eating for health, to overcome the confusion, to feel much more empowered and free to eat what you want, to have a healthy appetite, but a healthy appetite for the right foods and wanting the right foods. That's the difference. Now, I haven't done a comparison chart, but if anybody wants the comparison chart, let me know. It looks a little bit pushy when you legitimately make a comparison between weight loss injections and a program of lasting behavior change. It looks a bit pushy, so I didn't put it in. But it's actually quite dramatic, the difference between this short-term appetite suppressant effect and a re-education and a long-lasting change in your physiology and your food relationship. Okay, so we're coming to the last sort of 8 minutes or so, and I'll leave time for questions. This is what I believe you need for lasting health and weight release. You need to learn to eat in tune with our bodies. Listen to the signals that our bodies are telling you, not override them with a unnatural suppressant. When I tune into my body tells me, do I need protein? Do I need more fats? Do I need a really good meal? Do I need some fruit? Do I need water? Do I need salt? My body tells me now. I love that I can tune into that. The idea of an unnatural appetite suppressant would worry me for that reason alone. I love those signals. They tell me what my body needs. Does that make sense, everybody? Is that resonating? Nourish all 6 human hungers, not only nutritional, but emotional, variety, low blood sugar, etc. Okay. Natural and lasting appetite control through physiology and a better gut microbiome. The gut controls our cravings to a great extent. The emotional ones, that's psychology, habit, behavior, mindset, associations, yeah, habitual, ingrained responses. But the gut contains the physiological cravings, which can be a sugar craving. That's sometimes where part of the food addiction comes from, because the gut is dependent on those foods because we've been feeding it that way for so long. So natural and lasting appetite controls from having a healthy gut. Okay. Rewiring those mindset and eating behaviors for good, not just a temporary reprieve from them. Does So creating yourself a stress-free relationship with food that lasts for the rest of your life. So the program, I said I'd just take the last 5 minutes to talk about my health transformation program, which doesn't involve meds, but anybody who is taking the meds is very welcome to come along, because they will learn the food mindset work. Okay, they will help. It will help them to get a healthier gut. So you certainly don't need the medications to do this program. It works even better than them, but naturally. So it gets you properly nourished. It trains the food mindset for lasting change. And here's the thing that I haven't mentioned yet. It's a stepwise approach. Every step is doable and, fairly straightforward each week. Can you make this one swap? You make that one swap, and here's the thing. You feel better. So you're like, oh my God, I made this one food swap and I feel better. And now I know why it's better to eat this than that. So in your body, you don't need to take anybody's word for it anymore. So now you don't need all the information. All you need is your body telling you this feels better. It's about not going hungry and undernourished. It's about responding to the natural signals that the body is giving you. Real foods, right? Teaching you to eat real, natural foods in the physical form of normal family meals. Okay. Now, a lot of people with, I haven't got time for all that. If you haven't got time for that and you don't care about your health, take the injections. But if you care passionately about your health and you know that nourishment is important to you, this is what you want to explore next. Create your ideal food freedom lifestyle. So food freedom, it's all about food freedom for me. Last night, I went out for a meal and I had a dessert and I had a cocktail up the bar at sunset. I have freedom. I have chocolate. I have a birthday cake when it's a certain kind of quality, home baked. It won't be any crap. But what I'm saying to you is I have the freedom to eat what I want when I want. But what I want and when I want it is very different from the old Sue, which was much more compulsive and addictive, and now it's beautifully, I call it conscious gastronomy. So I want conscious gastronomy for you all. So no relying on willpower anymore. Rooted in neuroscience and psychology, actually addresses the root causes of emotional eating. So we actually look at what's going on in your life that is causing these triggers. And we actually help you, guide you, support you to address and respond differently to those triggers. So it's not all about food. It's about lifestyle, activity. So this is a recent cohort on one of my 90-day challenges. And they're all so excited about their results. And they're showing you what their top win was. And sometimes it's 20 pounds or whatever weight they release. But a lot of the time it's my food relationship is just transformed. There you go, top one. Food is no longer in control of me. Yeah. So it's that happier, lighter, more educated, some weight release, but got my energy back, those kinds of things. Yeah. And if anybody's interested in learning more about that, I'll pop the link to my success stories in the, there's just a link to hundreds of success stories there on my website. And just to give you the last few minutes of very real people who have had such a transformation that they wanted you to see their faces, right? Wendy, 33 pounds as a side effect. She didn't join for weight loss. She joined because she had hip pain and she wanted to avoid surgery. More energy, more sparkle, and even to manage stress better. Yeah, so it's a lot to do with how you handle stressful situations. Lucy was already fairly slender, but she wanted to get a handle over her food relationship because she felt like she was comfort eating all the time. She did release 14 pounds, that's a stone, which was 9% of her body weight. So she's very lovely and slender now. She was lovely and slender before, but the fatigue has gone. She even has stronger nails, which she couldn't believe. She's telling everybody my nails are stronger. My digestion is happier. Yeah. Healthier and feeling detox. How would that feel? Angela, such a role model for lasting change. Julie's friend. Such a role model for lasting change. Angela had released some weight when she came to my program. She'd been dieting, but she knew she needed to change the food mindset in order to embed that. She released another 16 pounds on my program and has gone to release further now. So she's now maintaining. Thanks, Rosalba. Lovely to see you. Ask me if there's any questions later. She's maintaining 5 stones now that she's gone through this transformation of a food relationship and knows how to eat. She's living her best life. Food no longer rules her life. Ollie is a great example of somebody who joined for symptoms. Ollie didn't join for weight loss. She was debilitated with joint pain and gut issues, and now has, brain fog as well was the thing. Now has reduced the brain fog, much healthier relationship with food. And what I love about what Ollie said there is the overall sense of well-being that I feel and the optimism I have for the future. Now, that's a great example of the difference between doing this as a lasting change and having a temporary fix. Much better understanding and connection with my body, knowing exactly what my body needs. That's the point that I'm trying to get across, my darlings. Okay. Barbara, 40 pounds, feels sexy at 70. And the lovely Donna, who was debilitated with long-term chronic ailments and is now in the peak of her life again, back to her normal self and really loving life, traveling and swimming and mountain walking and foraging and going to India, whereas she couldn't get out of bed before. 44 pounds, but that's not the biggest win, you know. So Justine couldn't get out of bed because of pain and stiffness in her back. Now she jumps out of bed and she's released 38 pounds. So my darlings, and men too. Yeah, Geraint's a great role model for reversing his type 2 diabetes and reducing his high blood pressure so that he could get off meds. So I wanted to share with you the offer as we come to the end of this 45-minute chat. I'm offering you, I don't always offer this. So I do a 90-day program. A couple of you have had discovery calls with me. A couple of you have done the program. So there's always that book a call where if you want to go for it, you want to do the health transformation program, I'll put the link in there to book a call. Book a call with me and we can talk about that. But if you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm still thinking about these weight loss injections, how about this? Do my first 2 weeks, which is the 2-week food freedom challenge. This is a gentle 2-week reset of your food relationship where you'll get really, really clear on what you're eating and why and how it's feeling in your body. And you're going to really start to explore how it feels to be properly nourished, maybe for the first time ever. So that is there for you. Either way, book a call, whether you just want to do the first 2 weeks or whether you're ready to have the lasting change. Just reach out to me. Either use that link or just message me any way you know how. We're all in touch either by WhatsApp or by email or on Facebook. And if anybody's not in touch with me by one of those means, raise your hand and I'll tell you how you can get in touch with me. Okay. So do we have any questions, my darlings? Any comments or observations on anything you've seen? Have you found it more, have you had some new information? Vanessa, let's unmute you.
Hi, hiya. Hi, Sue. So good to see you again. How are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on holiday. I did manage to hop on. So yeah, I have a quick question because you mentioned about on one of the slides about what was the wording? So it's about emotional eating, and it was not nurture, but it was nourish emotional eating. So I was like, how can that work? I that's kind of confuses me because nourishing and emotional eating don't for me go hand in hand.
Yeah. It's a really good question. Let me explain exactly what I mean there. What I've probably got is nourish the 6 human hungers and actually emotional eating. We just need a slight change of wording around that. It's nourishing the emotional need that manifests itself in emotional eating. That's the long version. So all emotional eating, whether it's eating for comfort, eating for boredom, what other reasons do we eat emotionally? Celebration, right? Oh, let's celebrate. I've had a great day, a party, birthday.
I emotionally eat when I'm hungry. I mean, when I'm angry.
Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always an emotional trigger, whatever kind of emotion it is, loneliness, boredom, stress. Anybody else resonating with some of these reasons for turning to food? Yeah, yeah. It's that emotional. The wonderful thing about emotional eating is it points a great big finger. When you are guided through it, it points a great big finger at the problem or unmet need. So when we're talking about nourishing those emotional needs, it's about getting really clear on what is the trigger and what is the need. If it's a food association, so like, oh, I always eat this because it reminds me of grandma. Usually that means we're lacking comfort. We're lacking a little bit of love and connection, and we're going to grandma's memories and turn into honey on toast or whatever it is, or worse, you know. And so what is that experience telling you? It might just be, oh, just wanted to have a little cry. I wanted to have a little, and it might not be debilitating, but for some of us it's debilitating. And if it is, it's important that we properly address, shall we say, the root cause of that emotional eating. Does that answer your question, Vanessa?
Yes. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for asking it, because you're absolutely right. The wording didn't really follow. Any other questions or observations? Has anybody got any new insights? Has anybody got something that they, might I don't want anybody going to tell your friend. Please don't go and tell your friend who's on weight loss injections you shouldn't be on them. Please never do that. Okay. But if you are having a conversation with somebody who is considering them, then maybe now you're better armed with more information to help them understand what's really involved and what they really do and what they don't do. Nikki, if we want more info on either of your programs, yes, please message me. I don't have a link where you can just click and buy the program. Just message me and we'll have a chat, and you might want the 2-week, or you might be ready to have a discovery call for the 90-day. Okay, so yeah, just reach out, message me in any way you know how. Priya?
I'm sorry I came so late. I completely forgot. I just been getting on Facebook and places stuff about natural weight loss injections, although they never actually get to the point of telling you that those, those long videos that go on forever, and you never actually find out what the ingredients are. But I'm just curious if you know anything about that.
Well, I think I know, but I'm going to confirm my understanding on ChatGPT before I answer, because I always like to give, well-researched opinions. What are the so-called natural weight loss injections? The so-called natural weight loss injections are still semaglutides, they're still GLP-1s, but they put them alongside words like plant-based or botanical or natural. They're still drugs. They might be made using slightly different methods. They might be mimicking the hormones that suppress appetite. They still do the same thing. In short, natural sounding marketing doesn't change how they work. It just makes them sound safer or softer, but the mechanism and consequences are still the same. Yeah, as we suspected. And if anybody knows any better, please inform me, as always. The 2-week challenge is the same as the 90-day. Yes, Liz.
I'm going to go now. Bye.
Thanks, Priya. Nice to see you, lovely. Liz, the 2-week challenge and the 90-day both start on Monday, the 30th of June. It's the same cohort, but those of you who are on the 2-week will treat you slightly differently as those that are continuing, because you haven't made up your mind whether you're going to continue the whole thing or not. But you jump on, it's the same content. It's the food freedom challenge, because with the people who are doing the 90-day, they need to go through this too. They need to understand their entire food relationship. So it's almost like a 2-week trial, if you like. I hope that is helpful. And Nikki, find it the whole thing fascinating. Thank you, Nikki. It highlights how little we get educated on what real nutrition is. And I have barely covered that today because of this being the focus on semaglutide. But most of my other masterclasses talk about the natural human diet and what that is, and how we weren't designed to eat one way all the time. There's 4 different ways of eating, and they happen to coincide with the natural seasons, and how when you take an animal from nature who's thriving in its natural habitat with its natural diet, and you put it in captivity and you feed it with food made by industry, that it suffers and struggles and gets ailments and gets obesity and halves its longevity lifespan. So the similarities there with the situation that we humans find ourselves in this modern world. Yes, and how to look after ourselves. There's so much noise and nonsense out there, and it's actually really simple when you look at how you're meant to eat and how you change the way we have been eating to the way we're meant to be eating in a beautiful, well-designed behavior change and food change and lifestyle change program. Don't even recall learning anything helpful about nutrition at school. No, we just learned about micronutrients and macronutrients and what are calories, and we burnt things in heat chambers, didn't we? We didn't learn anything about how to eat for health. So that's what I now coach, and that is my 90-day program. So I hope that's been helpful, everybody. It's been an absolute delight having you all here. I had expected it to be a little bit more of a, possibly even a debate, which would have been welcome too. But actually, you've all been just very receptive. So I am very grateful to you. And if anybody would like more of a debate, we can do that as well. So, but I'm not pro or against, I just for decision, informed decision. Okay. I will, as I said at the beginning, for anybody who missed it, if anybody listening to this, either live or on the replay, still decides that they're going for the injections for whatever reason, I fully support you, and let me help you with the food relationship and getting properly nourished. Okay, my darlings. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you again in the very near future. Don't forget, there's replays available of the last 2 masterclasses I did. And there's another one coming up on Tuesday, the 24th. So watch out for your emails and WhatsApps and Facebook. Lots of love, everybody. Bye-bye.